What your Marvel Rivals main says about you. If you main Adam Warlock, you want to heal your teammates, but you can't be asked to play a K-pop singer. If you main Angela, you're probably a DPS main who never loved Wolverine because he's small and hairy, so you're playing the better kidnapper. If you main Black Panther, you hate relying on your team to get picks, so you've taken it into your own hands to run through my backline like you're the small blonde from The Incredibles. If you main Black Widow, you're most likely doing it just to prove the point that you could be good on the character everyone's labeled as the worst character in the game. If you main Blade, you're super loyal in real life because even though he still needs to be buffed, you haven't given up on him and you're waiting for NetEase to release a buff. If you main the Hulk, you probably tried every other tank in the game and got annoyed with holding a shield, so you'd rather just like throw a left and right hook onto a small shark wearing shoes. If you main Captain America, you've definitely at one point typed in game chat the phrase on your left, or I can do this all day. And you prioritize your KD since you do anything to get out of situations after your team dies. And your name is most likely Jared. I don't know why. If you main Cloak and Dagger, you're probably wearing the color blue right now. I don't know why, you just probably are. If you main Doctor Strange, you probably take the game very seriously and you most likely solo queue, and for some reason I feel like you have a history with Valorant. If you main Emma Frost, you're probably an ex-support player who got tired of not getting protected, so now you choke slam people over and over again. Also, you probably have a very healthy sleep schedule. If you main Groot, you're probably a skinny legend like me, and you wanna see him shake those branches. If you main Hawkeye, I feel like you grew up watching Power Rangers Dino Force for some reason. If you main Hela, you're definitely more used to first-person shooters, so you thought your aim would carry over, but as soon as you get dove by somebody, you throw all that out the window and you swap the Squirrel Girl. If you main Johnny, aka the Human Torch, you probably don't play the game a lot because you spend most of your day at the gym or at work, and every morning you actually have breakfast. If you main Sue, aka the Invisible Woman, you probably only started playing her because nobody else wanted to play support, and you have a horrible sleep schedule. Yeah, because you're definitely the kind of person that goes, we can't end on a loss, but then you also go, well, we can't we can't end on a win, guys. We just won. You know what I mean? If you main Iron Fist, you got tired of every alt in the game, talking about some Pulse, come here, whatever, I'm hulking out. You got tired of it, so then you started playing the character that literally counters every single alt in the video game, which is crazy. Also, you probably like watching anime, but not every anime, and you've definitely listened to a Little Baby or Playboy Cardi song within the last 48 hours. If you main Iron Man, Tony Stark, the man himself, you at least one time thought to yourself, can my supports look up? You're probably waiting for NetEase to release a really good skin for him because I don't really think the other ones are like you don't really like those that much, except for the silver one. You kind of like that one for some reason, and you also really like the steampunk one that they released back in the alpha. Also, you probably spend a lot of time on Reddit replying to Rivals posts about update changes that they can make to balance the game better. If you main Phoenix, Jean Grey, you 1000% have watched a YouTube short or a TikTok talking about how to do her melee animation cancel, and if you ever played Overwatch, you definitely mained Ashe. If you main Jeff, somewhere in your room is either a pop figure or a plushie, and instead of a can of Monster or Red Bull, you have a thermos of water that you forget to refill on a daily basis. If you main Loki, I'm so for real, you leave the sentence, "Your powers are mine," on any post you see about Marvel Rivals anywhere on the internet, and you most likely have an ironic and unhealthy crush on him. If you main Luna Snow, there's some things at the end of the day, where you just have to question your choices. You know what I mean? If you main Magic, you love anime and you hate Spider-Man mains, but you don't really have a problem with Spider-Man himself, like as a character, you know what I mean? You have the worst sleep schedule out of any character so far listed in this video, and you probably own all of her skins. Every single one of them. If you main Magneto, you're probably the coolest person alive. You're probably really nice. You probably, hold doors open, pull out chairs type of situation. You know what I mean? You're out here talking about, oh wow, hey guys, you want some free money? Just some cool stuff, because he has the best alt line in the game as well, and you get chills every single time he says, "Fear Magneto!" If you main Mantis, you probably are a really nice, genuine person who probably uses earphones instead of headphones. If you main Reed Richards, the stretchy man himself, similarly to Blade, you're patiently waiting for NetEase to buff his ult, and 9 out of 10 times, your deaths are because you were stuck in inflated mode and couldn't block any damage. If you main Moon Knight, my guy, you grew up watching Teen Titans, Transformers, or Sonic. Maybe all of them. If you main Namor, you hate the Thing. I don't know why, and you questioned whether his name was Namor or Namor. Oh, also, and you hate women. If you main Penny, you probably didn't have that many friends in school, but that's okay because you're good at video games and your favorite food is some type of pasta dish. If you main Psylocke, you have those little lights at the top of your wall where the wall meets the ceiling that goes all the way across your room. I don't know why. I don't make up the rules. It's just how it is. If you main Rocket, the furry himself, you probably haven't watched Squid Game, and you do shower, but not daily. But when you do shower, you use a 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner. And one of your family members' names is Michael. If you main Wanda, you probably always have on perfume or cologne and you fall asleep with your phone most nights. If you main Spider-Man, you have an anime profile picture on Discord and you haven't posted on Instagram in a long time, if ever, but you still have an account. Also, you've recently used the wilted rose emoji most likely 3 times, but you'll never do it twice. It's either 1 or 3. Never 2. If you main Squirrel Girl, you either had no idea who she was before Marvel Rivals came out, or you've been a lifelong Squirrel Girl fan. There's no in between. You love cosplays, but you don't necessarily do them yourself, and you love traveling, but you really never have the time or money. If you main Star-Lord, if you're forced to play support, you'll play Mantis. You used to play Apex or Titanfall, and you have recently been playing Hollow Knight Silksong in your spare time. If you main Storm, within the last 2 weeks, you've responded to a DM or a post with a certain title card that appears when you say the word. If you main Frank Castle, you either love the Punisher, or you had to Google search if his powers are really just machine guns. You probably never ever play ranked, and you spend most of your time on Twitter other than any other social media platform. Oh, you also used to play Counter-Strike, and you've seen at least 2 episodes of The Walking Dead, but you didn't really vibe with it. If you main Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, you really get into becoming the Thing, you know? And you've definitely said, "It's clobbering time!" in game chat after you win, you know what I mean? But if you lose, you would never say it. And you most likely had pizza within a week of you watching this video. If you main Thor, you hate that songs get popular from TikTok, and you're usually a quieter person in real life, and you definitely have a phone case. Like, there's a case on your phone. It's not just like free balling. If you main Ultron, you most likely play the game on PC, and you probably play a sport like soccer. If you main Venom, you probably main Spider-Man first, but got tired of playing him after you hit Lord. You're also probably in a lot of, an insane amount of Discord servers, but you never talk in them, and I feel like you're most likely to have a motorcycle out of any other main in this video, but you don't actually have one. You're just most likely to have one out of everybody else. You know what I mean? If you main Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier, aka the Summer Supervisor, aka Baddie and Dangerous, then you 100% would spend loads of money trying to win a stuffed animal for your significant other at a carnival. And finally, if you main Wolverine, your closest friend's name starts with a K or an L, and you've most likely been a long-time Wolverine fan, but mostly you're just happy that they released banger skins for him back to back to back. And you had chicken within the last 2 days, and you still have a fast food cup somewhere in your house and or car. And if you made it this far in the video, right now, you're looking at your phone percentage to see what percent it's on. I just lied, you didn't do it until I said it. Oh, and if you're on PC, you look down at your clock to see what time it is right now. If that was true, if I said anything that was true, if it was right, if it was wrong, let me know down below. I want to know. I actually really want to know. I'll see you guys later, man. Take care of yourselves. Peace.